socialism. We lived in socialist society, and I would say that comparing with the liberal society, I would prefer socialist society. So, but at the same time, if we apply to socialist Russian society the rules of Marxism, so all successes of Russian socialism were not thanks to Marx, but probably against him. So all violation of Marxist dogmas were successful. First, to start with, Marx radically rejected the possibility of the proletarian revolution in the non-industrial society. But all the examples of the successful proletarian revolutions in the world history were in not proletarian industrial society, and the society was dominating peasantry in China, in Russia, in any way. So Marx saw that it wasn't impossible to construct socialism in one country. And Stalin proved that it's possible, but not that most other socialism. So the real socialism, it is something else than theoretical Marxist concept. Marxist theoretical concept failed, and this people's version of socialism won. But the problem of socialism, that it tried to be dogmatic until the end. So in the moment, a real socialist system have lost the moment when they should be acknowledged that everything from the beginning was wrong. All this Marxism, theoretical Marxism, was totally wrong. It was just an impulse, just push, just a starting point for very special non-capitalist way of development. And the best elements of Russian socialism were precisely because it was Russian. So Russian roots, they played a crucial point and a crucial role. And what we see now in China, they try to avoid the inevitable collapse of Marxist system, but adapting more and more and more socialist dogmas to Chinese cultural identity. That is, in their effort, they go further and further and further from socialism, theoretical, and they are successful precisely because they shift the attention to the Chinese civilization. The same for North Korea. They are not strict followers of Marxism and socialism. They are first of all defenders of Korean identity or Buddhist socialism in Myanmar or in other Indochinese. They were much more Buddhist and traditionally. Concerning nationalism, so I don't like term nationalism. I don't like phenomenon of nationalism because it is creation of the modern bourgeois West, and that was based on destruction of traditional society, based on the false and artificial identity of citizen. Citizen is invention of the Western modernity. And traditional society is dealing with the concept of holistic entities, families, ethnic groups, tribes, folk society, as Raffel has defined it. So, and Louis Dumont, I have mentioned him, has explained why individualism, including nationalist individualism, is wrong. So we need to deal with community, with something common, with some holistic approach. And when we speak about new reorganization of civilization state, it is not nationalism in nothing, because it is inclusive. Civilization state could not be just ethnical nationalism, because it will provoke inner hatred, conflict, and humiliation and destruction of one or many or few of identities. They are minority. So minorities should be included and not excluded. But we need to show them the way. And Russia, historical, and Russian empire and Soviet Union, we managed somehow to conserve almost all ethnic groups that existed in Eurasia before, with different traditions, with different identities. So, and the West has destroyed them totally. For example, not only in the colony, but in Europe as well, because there were much more ethnic groups in Europe, but with nationalism, they have destroyed everything. So I don't like term nationalism. I prefer traditionalism, inclusive traditionalist conservative attitude, and traditional values, because nationalism is something new as socialism. So what is really important and positive in my way is the return to pre-Western, pre-modern political concept. For in India, maybe it's not, it would sound strange. I could not give any lesson, but I admire Varna system as principle, not because of social application, but because the evaluation of the nature of the jiva, of the soul. They are clearly different jivas. We see that every day. So they are very sattvic jivas. There are raja jiva, and there are tamasic jivas, and that is normally to accept. So people of the light of Brahmanic types should occupy their place. The people of warrior kind, Kshatriya, should occupy their place. And if we try to make Kshatriya absolutely innocent, not ahimsa principle, it is not Kshatriya principle, Brahmanic principle. Ahimsa. If you prolong ahimsa on everybody else, you destroy karma finally. Or if you give to tamasic persons the right to decide everything, they will reduce everything to the material value. So this distribution of goals of life in the system of Hinduism, I admire it. So I could not help to admire it, but that is just a remark from outside. So, in my opinion, the nationalism destroys these diversification of human natures, absolutely necessary to create organic society. So, in that sense, I am much I am inclined to follow the idea of Balganath Tilak and his tendency, or RC, RC, tendency that is the matrix for Narendra Modi mentality. So I am in favor not of nationalism, but in favor of traditionalism, and that is different things.
Thank you.